stuck in your body and where you're holding energy instead of breathing it through. Where are you holding? We are learning how to look within. And we are learning how to look within because that is where the happiness is that we've been seeking. We remember together that everything is within and nothing is without. We look within together so that we won't be afraid of what our ego tries to show us when we try to look within. Don't be afraid to look within. Tell yourself what is within is only love, and there is nothing without. Beautiful, and then just take another deep breath, enjoying that state of within. Enjoying it one more instant before opening your eyes and going without. And when you're ready, bring your awareness back to the room and back to your body. Yawn and stretch. Okay, isn't that nice? Like a spiritual shower. All right, so the section that I pulled out for today is lesson 200 in the workbook. 200. Does anybody need a book?
I'll go get some.
So, there may be some behind the podium or wherever else they may be.
I got one. Where's the saying?
There is no peace except the peace of God. Is that what the passage refers to?
Following you around. You can't walk across the room without it following you.
That date is from Wednesday
She wants to come with me to do TV.
Oh, I bet she does.
Here.
I bet she does.
Set it up.
Oh, yeah.
Anybody else? Here's books.
Yeah.
Okay,
She can use that over you're using us right now. She's starting to act like an old girl.
anybody wants it?
Thank you, dear. All right. Does everybody have it that wants it? Awesome. So lesson 200. Everybody awake now? Okay. So I'm just going to read the lesson to us and then see what happens. Okay. So I know that you're either here for one or two reasons. You're either here to learn more about A Course in Miracles and learn about it, listen to it, learn about it, or you're here for the healing that comes when you listen to the truth, especially when you listen to the truth with other people. So both purposes are awesome. So my job is just to read this to you. So the title of this is There Is No Peace Except the Peace of God. So if you're looking for peace today, if you'd like some peace in any area of your life, this is a great place to hear about what peace is and where can you find peace while you're going through what you're going through. Seek you no further. You will not find peace except the peace of God. Accept this fact and save yourself the agony of yet more bitter disappointments and more bleak despair, and save yourself the agony of yet more sense of icy hopelessness and doubt. Wow. Anybody ever experienced any of that? Anybody ever experienced a bitter disappointment? Anybody ever experienced bleak despair? You know about this morning. How's your morning? Oh, I experienced some bleak despair. How about you? How's your day going? Well, you know, I'm experiencing a sense of icy hopelessness right about now. Really?
And that.
I asked. We don't say that we feel those things, but we all do. We all feel those feelings sometimes. And according to this, it is the agony that comes when you are seeking for happiness and peace in something besides the truth, something besides going within to experience the love of God, right? That's what you experience every time you seek outside for something besides the peace within, the peace of God. And he says, so don't seek any further. Stop seeking, stop seeking, stop seeking, stop seeking. There's nothing else for you to find except the peace of God, unless you seek for misery and pain. Wow. Okay, so interesting instruction. Stop seeking, which has to mean that the opposite of seeking is going within for what's already there. Okay, those are your two options. You're either going to look outside for peace in something happening outside, or you're going to close your eyes and look within for the peace and the happiness that's already there. Those are your two options. One is seek, and one is look within. One is seek, and one is look within. Those are your two options. And he told us in the first paragraph what comes when you seek instead of look within. Okay? So today we're going to join together in learning how to look within for what's already there, so that we can have the lasting peace that we think would be nice to feel sometime. It'd be nice to have some lasting peace, right? Okay, that's what I would like. All right, so this is the final point to which each one must come at last, to lay aside all hope, to lay aside all remaining hope of finding happiness where there is none. We come to this final point to lay aside our hope of being saved by what can only hurt. And we come to this final point of trying to find, of having hope that we can make peace of chaos, the hope that we can make joy of pain, and the hope that we can make heaven out of hell. By what? By seeking outside ourselves, by doing something else besides closing our eyes and going within. This is the point where we come and we lay aside all remaining hope that I'm going to get what I want from making something happen in the world, for making something happen, for getting something from the world. This is where the final point that everybody's going to come to, where they lay aside all remaining hope and fantasy that they're going to become peaceful and happy by looking for something else to happen in the world. Everybody's going to come to that point and go, you know what, I've about tried everything. I've about looked in every corner. I've looked in a lot of corners. Some darker than others. And now I realize that there is no peace except for the peace that you find when you close your eyes and look within to experience what's already there. And so we've come to that point today. And he says that attempt no more to win through losing. Attempt no more to find happiness through seeking outside yourself. And attempt no more to die, to live. You cannot but be asking for defeat. Wow. All right. Okay. So the Course says that peace is some kind of internal searching, some internal. And then what it says, sickness is some form of external searching. Sickness is some kind of external searching. I'm sick of this, I'm sick of them, I'm sick of myself, I'm sick of this situation, I feel sick in my body. Because I have been doing a bit of external searching. Just a bit. I've been looking outside myself, trying to figure out what besides my own self needs to change in order to feel better. Wow. And by doing that, I can only experience defeat. All right. Any of this sound familiar? Now, okay. So he says, yet you can ask just as easily for love, for happiness, and for eternal life in peace that has no ending. As a matter of fact, if you'll ask for that, then you can only win. Because to ask for what you already have, to ask for what you already have, to ask for what you already have must succeed. So, I was not asking for the happiness and the peace I already had. I wasn't asking for the happiness I already had. I was asking for the happiness that I could get when my financial situation was different. I was asking for the happiness that I would have when, who would act right. I was asking for the happiness that I was asking for happiness through something changing within my body. That I wasn't asking for the happiness I already had. I wasn't waking up going, what I'd like to experience today is the happiness I already have, right? I would like to experience the peace of God I already have. That's why I've experienced a sense of icy hopelessness and bitter defeat, right? So now he's saying, so instead of asking for the happiness you don't have yet, that you could get out there, now we're just going to ask for the happiness and the peace that I already have. What a radical concept. And he says, now, if you spend your energy asking for the happiness and the peace and the abundance and the safety that you already have, then you are sure to win. Isn't that great he used that word, win? We love that word. You want to win? Yeah! Look within. Oh. Funny, I never associated winning with looking within. I love it how he uses the words that we can relate to. Win. All right. he says that to ask for what you already have must succeed. If you want to succeed, ask for what you already have. To ask that what is false be true can only fail. So, forgive yourself your vain imaginings. Forgive yourself your vain imaginings. Forgive yourself, what vain imaginings? Oh, you know, all those plans you had and all those scripts you had and all those agendas you had. Those vain imaginings, if you could just get it like this, if you could just get it like that, and you could just get them to change, and you could just get your life to be like this, and just get your life to be organized, then you'll be happy. If you could just get somebody else to want to fulfill your script with total joy, total willingness, I definitely want to fulfill your script. Tell me what it is. I'll make it happen. My vain imaginings. I've got a few vain imaginings. If that person would just go, yeah, I want to make your fantasy happen. Tell me what it is. My vain imaginings. If just that would happen, I would be happy. I'd be happy forevermore. Forgive yourself your vain imaginings. That if they would just change, you'd be happy. Or if your situation was different, you'd be happy. Forgive yourself all your vain imaginings. And you're going to need that instruction, because as you begin to look within for the peace that's already there, first thing that's going to pop up is all your vain imaginings. All the ways that you have sought happiness outside yourself, through other people changing, and through other people meeting your scripts and your fantasies, and all the seeming damage that you think you did in using other people for that purpose. That's the first thing that will pop up, where you'll be like, oh. Right? That's why the Course says we're afraid to look within. So, when you begin that journey of looking within to find the peace that you already have, and all the ways you've been using other people, and the ways you've been seeking outside yourself for happiness, and when you didn't get it, then judging and attacking other people and situations, that's going to pop up first. So when that happens, here's what you're supposed to do. Forgive your vain imaginings. Forgive yourself. Forgive your vain imaginings. Forgive all those fantasies that you were so actively trying to make happen, and getting so angry with other people and yourself when you couldn't make them happen. Forgive yourself your vain imaginings, because that's the only way that you're going to then be able to move below them to the peace that's already there. Wow, I love that instruction. Forgive yourself your vain imaginings, and stop seeking what you cannot find. Right? You're never going to find happiness and peace with anything out there changing. It's never going to happen. It would have happened if it was going to happen. It would have happened. Because we've gotten the world and others to change for us. We've done it a lot. We just formed a special relationship with them and made them feel guilty. Right? So we've tried it. We've tried our hardest and our best. We formed a special relationship to get what we wanted, and then made people feel guilty if they didn't give us what we wanted. We've tried that. And believe me, and there were plenty of people who said, okay, I will feel guilty enough. I will take that guilt and I will fulfill your fantasy. I'll become the man and I'll become the woman that you want. I'll become the family member you want. We've tried that, and we were still not happy. We were still angry as we could be. Even more angry. Wow, wait a minute. This person came to us and go, I'll feel guilty enough to fulfill your script and the role you gave me. And then they tried really hard, and then of course, since they couldn't do it and it didn't make us happy, we attacked them. We made them feel guilty and tried to make them do it better. Wow. So, we know that doesn't work. We know that the external seeking doesn't work. We've tried it. Wow. So, now we're being asked to forgive ourselves for all the ways that we have sought externally. We're being asked to forgive yourself for that. It's okay. Yes, we've all been seeking externally and then attacking what didn't satisfy us. We've all been doing that. And so, we're being asked to forgive ourselves for that so that we can get on to where the peace really is. So, would you guys be willing to join me today in forgiving myself for all my external searching, all my vain imagining? Join me in forgiving myself. I join you in forgiving yourself. All right, because that's where the healing's at. Okay, then it says, forgive yourself your vain imaginings and seek no longer what you cannot find, because what could be more foolish than to seek and seek and seek again for hell, when you have only to look with open eyes to find that heaven lies before you through a door that opens easily to welcome you. Oh, okay, so you can either seek or you can look with open eyes onto the heaven that's what? That's all that lies before you. In other words, the heaven that's already here. Again, those are your two choices. You can either seek or look with open eyes for the heaven that's here. Looks like Bella's going for the heaven that's already here. I will now demonstrate this principle. Right on cue. We make a good team, huh? Okay, so seeking is something that you do when you want misery and pain. Oh, okay, that's how interesting. Seeking is something that I do when I'm looking for misery and pain. Oh, how interesting. I thought that I had this different perception about seeking, about like how that's what I was supposed to do. So I know that I'm wanting to experience misery and pain when I find myself seeking, instead of closing my eyes, turning within to find the heaven that's before me. When you look within, what do you see? Woo! Look at the heaven before me. That's what happens when you look within and are willing to let Holy Spirit take you through that outside ring of fear that the ego puts up. Okay? So remember, when you decide, you make the decision, okay, I'm going to look within for the heaven that's already there, I'm going to do what the Course said, and I'm going to not seek for 5 minutes, and I'm going to look for the heaven that's within. You got to know the first thing that's going to pop up is all your ego's defenses against you looking within. You get distracted, your mind wanders, you get sleepy, you think of all the things you need to do, your phone starts ringing, you realize your kitchen's dirty, or you begin to see the ways that you've been vain, the ways that you've been arrogant, and the ways that you've been vainly seeking. So that's the first thing. It's like those games, like when you're going within, and then the ego's like, bloop, pops up all these defenses. Don't you look within. Don't you look within. Don't you go there. Don't you look within. You'll be struck with horror so complete that you will rush to death by your own hand. If you look within, don't do it. So just remember that. Just remember that oh, this is the decoys that pop up. These are the decoys that pop up. These are the decoys the ego pops up so that you will turn back. Okay? And you will continue the process of learning how to look within to find the heaven that's already before you. Okay? All right. So he says, come home, period. Come home because you haven't found the happiness in foreign places, and you haven't found your happiness in alien forms that have no meaning to you. And even though you sought those things, you sought to make them meaningful, Even though you sought to make everything outside you in the world meaningful, this world is not where you belong. You are a stranger in the world. But it is given you to find the means whereby the world no longer seems to be a prison house or jail for anyone. Wow. So he's giving us an instruction. You know, this is our spiritual guide and this is our spiritual teacher, and he's teaching us how to go within to find the heaven that's already there. And the instructions he's giving us is come home. That's an instruction. Come home. And the reason, the place that our teacher is asking us to come home from is the world. Isn't that interesting? He's like, come home, you don't belong there. What you doing there? What are you doing in the world? You don't belong there. Come home, please. And he says, come home from there. You don't belong there. Have you noticed you're a stranger there? Have you noticed you're a stranger? Nobody really seems to know you. Nobody really seems to want to know you. They're afraid to know you. You're a stranger there. How interesting. So come home from the world. And he says, now, once you come home from the world and you're like, and the way you come home from the world is this. You close your eyes. Isn't that wild? You close your eyes and you go within. That's how you come home from the world. So the world is everything you see when you open your eyes. And when you close your eyes is the door, maybe he says the open door, the door home. The door that's always open and waiting. And he says, now once you come home from the world by closing your eyes and looking within for the heaven that's already there, he says, then you are given the means by which this world is no longer a what? A prison house or a jail for anyone. Wow. Anybody here experience the world sometimes as a prison house? How about a jail? Okay. Right. Okay. I know I do. And that's why I feel scared a lot of times. That's why I feel anxious. The world feels like a prison house. And then I turn on the news and I realize that not only does the world feel like a prison and a jail to me sometimes, but some people, in my experience, they really experience this planet as a prison and a jail and a war zone. Even more than a jail, a war zone.
Serious war zone now.
A serious war zone now. Always been, but now becoming harder for us to not see. Right? Hey, we're living in a war zone. Hey, what's wrong with this picture? There are some people, there are some children on this planet who live in a war zone. What? It's like, what's wrong with this picture? Well, here's the way that, according to this, here's the way for you to not experience the world as a war zone where children are on. But here's a way to experience the world as a means whereby the world doesn't seem like a prison house or a jail or a war zone for anyone. For anyone. Wow. Because as long as anybody experiences this world as a war zone that they're on, we experience that with them. And there is no peace for any one of us while any of ourselves live in a war zone or a jail or a prison. And so this is our way to release them from experiencing the world as a prison or a jail. Wow. What is it? Looking within. Stop your external searching. Look within and look for the heaven that's before you. And when you do that, you are given the means by which other people in the world no longer experience their world as a war zone or a jail or a prison. How does that sound? Doesn't that sound good? Well, I really appreciate hearing about how it is that I can save my world, my planet. I mean, I was watching the stuff that was going on in the Middleast last night, and it took my breath away. It made me want to like grab the hold of the countertop and weep. And like, you're looking at that, and you're like, what in the world could I possibly do in this situation? Holy cow. You know, either I can just be, you know, fall down in despair that this is what's happening in my world, but what else could I do when I see that my world is a war zone, and that myself and the children that are myself are on this war zone, in this war zone? And then this is the answer. When you see your family members and your children and parts of yourself in a war zone, dying, the best way to help them is to go within and look for the peace of God within you, and then extend it to them. Feel it and remember it for them as part of yourself. That's the way it's done. And I was so grateful that Holy Spirit was like, oh, don't fall down in a pile of despair. Go within. Go within, remember the truth for them, and then remember it for them and send it to them. Pray for your world. Pray for them. That's the way that we release our brothers and sisters from living in a war zone and living in a world that feels like a jail or prison to them. Wow, thank you.
I got a,
Yes.
I thought it was really interesting. I was watching the thing up with Rockaway, and they had they were talking to like this one family, and they had the reporter, and he was going on and saying, isn't this like a real tragedy, and you're suffering? And the guy goes, well, you know, we're all pulling together, and it's amazing how everybody is helping each other, and you know, it's a real gift to have these people in my life. And he goes, but don't you see yourself as suffering? and the horrifying thing that's happening. He goes, you know what? It's just, we have an amazing community, and we're all pulling together, and it's great to see all the love.
Wow.
You know, and it's interesting because
Yes.
he was like trying to
Yes.
get them to see it
Yes.
as a war zone,
That's
and
right.
he was seeing it as just an incredible outpouring of love.
Exactly.
I thought that was really cool.
A beautiful opportunity to join, which is where real happiness and peace comes from.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, that's beautiful. So what turns a tragedy into a miracle for all is that we join to help each other in whatever way we are able to. Absolutely, thank you for that. And that's what time it is now. That's what time it is now. We're at a place in my perception where the world has so jeopardized its own well-being, it's so jeopardized its own safety on so many levels, that the truth is that unless we join for the purpose of saving it, aka praying for it, holding the light for it, that, you know, it may not make it. I mean, that's the way it seems. I mean, the planet is a physical thing, and unless we take care of it, so that's what we're seeing, is that the truth is that unless we join now to pray for each other and pray for the world that is in such a desperate place, that, you know, that we don't get to experience happiness. You know, but that's how the world gets saved. You know, people joining to pray for it. That's a lot. That's a lot. You know, when you pray for something, you really are doing real and lasting good. Right? Okay. So the ego wants to tell us, well, I can't do anything about that. I can't do anything about that. But the truth is that we're being shown what we can do about it. Okay. So, how are we doing on time? All right. Freedom is given you where you beheld only chains and iron doors when you look within. But you must change your mind about the purpose of the world if you would find escape. You want to find escape? Do you want to find escape from this prison house, this jail, this war zone? Do you want to find escape? Do you want to find escape? I do. And I would like the people in the Middle East right now to be able to find escape from the war zone that their world has turned into, has become. So here's how we find escape from a prison house, jail, or war zone. We change our mind about the purpose of the world. We change our mind about the purpose of the world. Oh, that's how you do it? We change our mind about the purpose of the world. We change our mind about the purpose of the world. So our goal is now to change our mind about the purpose of the world. Okay, you said the way of them best save this world is in desperate need of saving is to change my mind about the purpose of the world. Okay, so, all right, so Holy Spirit, what is the purpose of the world? What is it, Holy Spirit? And the change of purpose in the world is this. Now my purpose with the world is it's there for me to save. It's something for me to pray for. Instead of the old purpose I had for the world, which was that it be the thing that would give me what I wanted. It'd be the thing I went out and harvested my happiness from. I'm going to go and get my happiness from the world. I'm going to go out and manipulate it and get my happiness from it as if I'm like going into it and harvesting my happiness from it. That used to be my purpose for the world. I'm going to go out and get it, right? The new purpose for the world that actually enables you to save your world is now the world is just there for me to pray for. That's it. The world is just there for me to give the gifts that I received when I went within. That's all it's there for, to receive the gifts that I received when I looked within. That's its only purpose. And it's there for me to pray for it. That's the purpose, the new purpose of the world that will enable you to find escape. Wow. That's a pretty appropriate topic right now in my perception. Because as I look out on my world right now, it looks pretty darn desperate and scary, frightening. I mean, frightening. I mean, so frightening, I'm afraid to look sometimes. So, especially when I see my brothers and sisters in the Middle East, like, in a war zone. I realize, oh yeah, escape is a timely topic right now. Escape is a timely topic. So, that's how we find escape. We do what? Okay, this world is no longer for me to go out there and harvest my happiness from. It's for me to pray for it, ceaselessly, to pray for it, to ask for peace for everyone who's suffering, to ask for peace for everyone who's in a war zone, you know. So that's the change of purpose for the world that will enable me to escape the war zone that we've made our planet into. Have you noticed? Have you noticed we've turned our world into a war zone? Wow. And that should wake us up. You know, it's nothing like war to make us go, what? We're doing what? We're doing what? For what reason? We're doing what to those children and those families over there for what? We're going to destroy our planet for what? War is a fantastic wake-up call. You know, for literally seeing the cost of looking without and seeking for happiness in the world. Wow. All right, he says, you will be bound till all the world is seen by you as blessed, and you will be bound until everyone is made free of your mistakes and honored as they are. You didn't make them, and no more than you made yourself, and as you free the one, the other is accepted as they are. Wow, okay. So, right, so where does escape come from? It comes from wanting others to be free, wanting others to be free, wanting others to escape the war zone, wanting others. You see that? You will be bound until what? Until you see the world as blessed, until they are released from your mistakes and honored as they are, until they are honored as they are, which is what? What are they? They are a part of me. They are a part of me. They are just as much a part of me as my child is part of me. That's what it means to honor them as they are. So until I want this for the world, I really will remain, I will continue to feel like a prisoner in this world. Wow. And we will not, we have this idea of like, oh, what does it mean to have freedom? We think of freedom as something we get for ourselves, right? Like, how do I make myself free? Oh, I know, I'll have a relationship like this, and I'll have enough money, and I'll live right here, and I'll have good health, and yeah, that's how I'm going to be free, right? We think of freedom as something we get for ourselves. In this section, he's saying, you are not going to have any freedom. You will never feel free while others around you in your world are bound. And so if you really want freedom and you really want to escape, then you ask for them. You have a different purpose for the world. Now your purpose is to free the world, remember, for the world, send love to the world instead of getting love for yourself. And then you're like, wow, all that time, freedom really came from like wanting it for someone else. Wow. And then you find out where real freedom comes from. All right, so I'm going to stop here just because we only have 12 more minutes. I will come back to the ending of it in the closing meditation, so we will hear a little bit more. But now I'm going to stop. We're going to do announcements, and then we're going to close with the closing meditation where we're going to go within and listen to these words together. Does that sound good? Mm-hmm. Okay. So for the announcements, does anybody know? I do not have the announcements in front of me, and I apologize. Will you guys help me remember what's happening here?
On December 2nd, it's a soup Sunday, and we're also decorating the center for Christmas. So I hope everybody can come, and after the 11 o'clock gathering, we'll decorate and have soup.
Thank you.
And also Tanya is now doing the Sunday donuts and soup with me, and so if anyone can volunteer to bring a snack sometime after one of the gatherings, usually after the 11 o'clock gathering, there's a sign up on the bulletin board. You could sign up or talk to me or talk to Tanya. We'd be glad to talk to you. Especially, we need soup volunteers for January as well. And as for events, I don't think anything's coming up right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Concert thing, is that also December 2nd?
It is happening.
Oh, that is December 2nd. Mary Lynn will be facilitating the gathering on December 2nd, and her husband's going to come and play the piano, and I don't know, he plays some other instruments too, and there'll be some singing and nice service.
Sounds lovely.
Yeah.
Service and music, very sweet. Very sweet. Okay, beautiful.
And there is music also every Sunday.
That's new.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yes, at 10:15 until 10:45.
Nice. Here?
Yes.
Yeah, beautiful. Who does the music?
Francis.
I think it's
Bucky.
kind of like folk music, don't you think?
That's what he
Sounds
said.
so far.
Oh, he does a little bit of everything.
He'd like other people to join in, so
Yeah.
anybody that's musical is
Oh, nice.
welcome and invited
How
to
lovely.
share.
Yeah,
So
we
it's
sing
every
along.
Sunday from 10:15, from what'd you say?
10:15 to 10:45. Yes.
Nice.
And just one other thing, I haven't checked, I'm sorry, but the spiritual church that we were going to when we had the fire
Yes,
on Dahlia,
yes.
I'm not sure the name of it, But every Thanksgiving, they usually have an open meal for anyone that doesn't have somewhere to go. And
Nice.
they've invited us all the time, anytime on Thanksgiving to come.
Nice.
They needed to use our facilities once when theirs,
Yes,
they
I
couldn't.
heard that.
And then after that, she called me last year and said, be sure and let people know they're welcome on Thanksgiving, because we always have a nice meal.
That's beautiful.
So that's, I'm not sure,
Are there
Beer
any,
Island for.
yeah, are there any flyers for that around?
Not that I've seen, like I
Okay.
say, I haven't even called them to check on it, but do you know the name of it? The First Spiritualist Church? or
That
something?
sounds
On-
familiar.
about-
The
It's on
first,
Dahlia.
Yeah, I wanna say
Dahlia
First
and
Science.
Monaco, right? Dahlia and Monaco, somewhere around there.
No.
I mean,
Oh,
not
yeah.
Hampton, not Montauk,
No, by
Hampton.
Dahlia and Yale.
That's right.
or
Yeah.
Hampton.
Canyon.
It's
Yeah,
like
it's
a
in
couple
between
blocks
both of those.
south of, north of Yale. North of Hampton.
Yeah, on Dahlia.
North of Hampton on Dahlia. Dahlia is between Colorado Boulevard and Monaco.
Yeah,
So,
that's right.
yeah.
And aren't we having, somebody's renting this facility for Thanksgiving?
For a vegan Thanksgiving.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and I saw signs for that up too. Oh, nice.
So there's a vegan
Sweet.
Thanksgiving.
You're supposed to call and.
Let them know. Beautiful. Very nice.
what time, do we know?
It's on the bulletin board.
Yeah, it's on the bulletin board. And I do my Course in Miracles class here every Monday night at 7:30 to 9. Drop-in donation. And if you would like to learn more about my holistic counseling practice, then you can find out more information on that at kujawa.com. That's my website. And all my classes are up on YouTube. So if you would like to see this class again, or you'd like to send it to somebody, you can find it up on YouTube. And if you are interested in finding out what I'm doing in terms of classes and groups and stuff like that, if you send me a Facebook request, a friend Facebook request, then I'll put you, and tell me you'd like to be on the list knowing what I'm doing, then I will include you in my Course in Miracles group, which is the Facebook group that gets all my invitations and announcements about things that I'm doing. Okay? Uh-huh.
And do you have something for sale?
I do think, and then I record the course to music. And this is the original edition. This right here is the edited version. I read out of the unedited version. And all I'm doing is just reading it to music. And I sell them as healing aids, you know, so that when you can't hear the truth for yourself for whatever reason, you can't get to the book, or you can't hear that voice for truth, you can just pop one of these in and just have, you know, live truth streaming. You've heard of like internet music streaming, and it's like truth streaming. It just streams it in. So, that's my medicine cabinet right there, sitting on that table. They're $10 each, and if you want one, leave the money on a basket on the table, which I'll get. So, all right. Shall we do our integration? Tonight I am hosting it. I am hosting at my home my newest class. It's called the Listeners Club. I'm only doing it for a few more Sundays, and it's at my home, and we're learning how to look within. That's the entire purpose of the class. Looking at obstacles to it, rewards to it, the effect of joining together to look within. If looking within is where your happiness is found, I figured that it behooved me to take another course in looking within. And what are my blocks to that? If you're interested in that, I do have some flyers here. I'm a little concerned about space, so you know, so if you don't feel like coming, that's great. Hopes that when I was writing, I'm like, oh my God, what have I done? Hosting a class at my house. What was I thinking? So anyway, that's happening tonight. That's also a donation basis as well this evening. So let's do our integration meditation. We have 5 minutes, and so that's what we're going to do. That was a lot of announcements, huh? All right, so so just close your eyes and breathe. And just tune into how you feel right now. How does it feel to have heard the truth? How does it feel? How does the Course feel in your body, in your mind, in your emotional body, your physical body, your spirit body? When you hear the words of the Course, how does it feel? And how does it feel to hear the words of the Course together? When you're sitting around with other people listening together, how does that feel? Take note of how the truth feels within you when you listen to it, and when you listen to it together. And let's do what the Course told us to do. Just do the instructions, and that is to, for just a few moments, stop seeking. Close your eyes upon the world in which you had been seeking about, and go within, asking for the peace of mind that you already have, asking for the sense of fulfillment that you already have, asking to experience the heaven that's already within you. Stop seeking and start asking for the peace of mind you already have. That's the instructions. The instructions is to close your eyes and ask for the peace of mind that you already have. Close your eyes and ask for the happiness you already have. And the other instruction that we were given was to change our mind about the purpose of the world. So let's do it. So we say within ourselves, I changed my mind about the purpose of the world. The world is no longer a place for me to scavenge and harvest my happiness from. The world is what I am supposed to be praying for ceaselessly. That's my new purpose for the world. And breathe it in. Don't forget to breathe. And remind yourselves what we were asked to remind ourselves. There is no peace except the peace of God. There is no peace except the peace of God. And I stop seeking for it, and I begin asking for it. And I cease asking for the peace of God just for myself alone. I also ask for the peace of God for all the world with me, because they are part of me. I cannot have the peace of God without them. And so for all the people near and far to me who are experiencing life as a war zone, or a prison, or a jail, I ask for the peace of God for them also. And Holy Spirit, please, please, please keep me mindful of that being my only purpose now. Whatever part of me thinks there's something better to do than pray for the world and to ask for the peace of God within, I ask you to correct for me now. And then the other instruction the Course gave us today was to forgive yourself for everything else that you wanted. Everything else you wanted besides a healed world. Forgive yourself all those vain desires for peace for just you. I forgive myself my specialness, wanting specialness more than I wanted to give love to the world. I forgive myself for wanting something besides this. Because my desires have been vain. They've been for me. And I forgive myself my vain desires. And just breathe all that in. breath. Bring your awareness back to the room and back to the body, and back to the chair you're sitting in with the floor under your feet. Wow, thank you guys. Thank you guys for coming together so that we can all hear the truth together and pray for the world and ourselves together. Thank you for that. That's
Very nice,
This is what it
thank you.
takes. Thank you.